to my channel. My name is Lydia, and today I'm going to be sharing the topic of psoriasis and how I dealt with it and how I helped myself heal as quickly as I could. So some of the important things to know is that your skin and your subconscious mind have the memory of your skin being healthy. So getting your normal skin back is not even a question here. It's gonna come back. What you have to do, you do have to figure out the factor of why you have it so you can help your body reverse it quicker. So I'm gonna share with you the things that I did and went through and used that definitely did help, and then I will also, of course, share things that didn't really help and weren't worth my time or money. And I'm gonna share with you the tools that I use now that still help me kind of maintain healthy skin. So I did have this condition for about a year and 2 months. I got it in August 2018, and right now it's October 2019, and it's pretty healed. It went away. You can see on my hand it's still red, but it's not nearly what it was. So the affected areas I did have was my hand here. It was about this big, and it used to be so broken that when I would go like this, my skin would crack and it would start either bleeding or some kind of, the skin would just crack. It would hurt. And then I had my finger here, which is fine now, but it used to be just like the hand cracked, like super dry, where it would crack open, and I'd actually have cuts. And so yeah, that hurt. Especially washing your hands with any kind of soap, any kind of chemicals that would touch the hands would really hurt. And then I had it on my shins, and I think that's it. Yeah, and then my neck would get very puffy as well, like a patch like this. You can see actually in one of my cooking videos, it's still very red, but it's not what it used to be, because on my neck it used to be so puffy that there was like double skin almost. It was crazy. So I did go to about 4 doctors. One of them was a dermatologist. I went to a general practitioner, and then I went to a naturopath, and then I went to, what was the last one? I think it's just another general practitioner, but also holistic. So I went to 4 doctors. First patch was about this big, and they thought it was valley fever. It wasn't. And so they just told me they didn't know what it was. So I just kept moving on. I was like, whatever, must be nothing if they know, right? And then I went to a dermatologist, and she said, oh, it's just eczema, put CeraVe on it. So I did that. No improvement. Wasn't getting worse, but it wasn't improving. And then I went to a naturopath, and she helped me a little bit. She suggested that I do a allergy test, and the way that this was done was for about 2 months we do tests on the 6 common allergies, and I already knew I was allergic to wheat, so I didn't even try that because I know that. So what we do is for 2 weeks you don't eat any of the 6 main allergens, which is milk, eggs or dairy, you know, milk, cheese product, eggs, wheat, soy, corn, and peanuts. So for 2 weeks I didn't partake in any of that, and then I tried corn. You eat corn for 1 day 3 times, and then you check 3 days later. So on Monday I would eat corn for breakfast, corn for lunch, corn for dinner, like corn product. It doesn't have to be actual corn on the cob. Or let's say you want to do eggs, you have egg for breakfast. You know what I'm saying? You alternate it in 1 day. So then the next following 3 days you can see in your skin or however you react if this was the problem. So through that test I found out I was allergic to corn, and milk was definitely verified. So from that I kind of gathered that, but just solely restricting those foods didn't help the problem improve at all. It would just make the skin inflamed if I did eat it. So I went back to her and I told her what I found out that I was allergic to, and then she suggested I take a probiotic because I had leaky gut or whatever, or a weakened immune system. So I took probiotics that were in the refrigerator, so they had to be live cultures, and then I did that for about 2 months, and I did see that little spot I had on my leg went away. Okay, and then when I ran out of probiotics, it came back harder. I had 2 patches at this point on my legs. I had 2 patches on my shins, so I had improved and then worsened. So I went back to her, and she just didn't even give me anything at this point. She's like, I don't know what to do. So it's not what I thought it was, you know, she said. Then I went to the 4th doctor, and she ran blood tests, and at this point it was so bad that both of my shins, at this point it had escalated, so I decided to go to another doctor. And it was on my hands, on my fingers, and on my shins, and my neck was red like all of the time. So I decided to go to this doctor, and she I showed her that my shins were gushing like all the time. It was pus coming out of them. I would wear pants. At the end of the day, I could see like discharge inside the pants from the psoriasis. It was very disheartening. It was very disheartening. Anyway, so she did the swabs, and we got that culture and we sent it into a lab. I ran my blood test. Nothing in my blood showed up bad. Showed up, you know, negative. It was all good. So she told me what she found in the cultures was that it was a mold. She said it was a mold, and that's the only answer she gave me. About CBD product to help calm the skin, which only inflamed it more actually. What didn't work was went to the doctors because they don't have the answers. I went to 4 doctors, like I said, and none of them could tell me that it was psoriasis, plain and simple. None of them diagnosed me till the very end, once I already spent probably over $1,000 going to doctors and trying to self-diagnose myself at the vitamin shop. Like, I even did a candida cleanse. Wasn't that? Yeah, it was a long process, and it's very frustrating because the doctors tell you all these elements that it could be. She gave me fish oil and probiotics, and this did help for a month, and then after I ran out of both, it got worse. And lastly, the thing I would say that didn't work is obsessing over it and saying, are they better? Oh, they're better. Oh, they're better. Is it better? Does it look better? Does it look worse? That's not helping. You're just kind of driving yourself crazy, because what I would do is I would sit there and I would scratch and scratch and scratch and scratch, and that's like obsessing over it. Look how much energy and attention you're giving to it, and what are your thoughts? Like, oh, I hate this thing, I hate this thing, I hate this thing, and then you're just like inflaming it and making it worse for the next day, and the next week it's still gonna reap that, you know? So now moving on to the positive things, how I did heal. She actually has a book, and she's the author, and she lived with psoriasis for 20 years. So I bought the book, and this is the book right here. And I got this book in June, and we're in October. So it was pretty quick. Things that did work for me is looking at your lifestyle and seeing what areas are triggering you. I started with this book. I started focusing on different areas of my life after removing that main stress factor in my life. So that really helped. Another thing I noticed almost overnight was taking a bath in this. It's just any sea salt. It doesn't have to be this one, but any sea salt. You know when you go to the beach and you feel relaxed? It's the positive ions from the sea salt, from the salt in the air and in the water. Another thing that I used, and that actually was the biggest improvement, was this cream. And I picked this up at my local Rite Aid pharmacy, and it was like $20, $19, something like that. Another thing that helped was this Neosporin. When my hands were all cut, I would apply this. Keeping a heavy moisturizer on at all times is really, really gonna help. At first I was using coconut oil, and that helped really good. That helped really well. But coconut oil alone isn't going to like alleviate it, but it did help lighten it up. I would do coconut oil and mix in some tea tree, and I would just apply it on my legs, and then, you know, put my clothes on like 20 minutes later. So that really helped, but I just got tired of that sticky feeling, so I picked this up. I got this off Amazon, and this actually has a lot of fatty acids that will help rebuild the skin. So I've been using that. Before that I used cocoa butter, and that's okay too, but I guess the shea butter has more properties to it. Other things that I use that aren't really products was frequencies, music frequencies. You know, you can healing frequencies through music. That's a very popular thing now, and I would use 174 hertz on YouTube. I would listen to that. I can link the exact video below. And that really just helped me when I was very anxious and I would scratch my legs. That helped me when I was very anxious. I would just scratch my legs because that music would help calm me enough to where I could breathe and not be in that state of like anxiety, just scratching. So that really helped. Another thing I tried was Reiki, and I can't say this, you know, improved or not, because I did see a Reiki practitioner in person, and he said he felt a lot of heat coming from the liver and the actual lesion on my leg, which was like the toxins, he said. So that's just an interesting story, but I do have a interesting experience to share. And this experience, I just got inspiration from, I think a Facebook post. Basically, this woman had cancer, and she was crying one night to God, and she asked God to help her. So she got the intuitive nudge to just lay down on her bed, just lay there. And I think for 2 hours she lay there, and she said she felt surrounded by healing energy, and she couldn't explain it. Later she found out that, you know, it was like angels healing her, pulling, extracting all that from her. And when she went to her scan the next week, they didn't find that tumor. I read that story. I thought, that's very cool. I wonder if I could do something like that for my skin. And I will link the video down below again. I used a video to just do meditation. I wasn't looking to do that kind of experience at all. I just did a sacral meditation, and I remember about 20 minutes into laying there and just breathing and stuff, I felt from my both shins like energy pulled up, like it was crazy. And I like woke up when I felt that sensation. I didn't move, I just felt it, and I said, wow, thank you. Like, I knew exactly what was going on and that healing I got from others. But so that's kind of my story. I know I'm not the best storyteller. I kind of jump around a lot, but you know, that's what I use to help heal myself. And if you are feeding yourself bad food, if you are drinking a bunch of sugar, even if it's a sugar-free, ask yourself, how can I heal when I am putting this in my body? You know, how can you heal when you're not giving your body the right resources that it needs, the right environment that it needs? Hippocrates, is that how you say it? Food is medicine, right? It is. That's all we had on the planet a long time ago. Food, herbs, these are our medicines. So treat the body with respect, and don't, you know, it can only give out what you give in. So treat it with respect. Thank you. I hope this information really helped you in some way. If you have any questions on what you could possibly do or how to pinpoint anything that could be triggering it, leave me a comment. Thank you.